In this video, we'll discuss how to use metric prefixes and convert between metric units using metric equalities. A convenient feature of the metric system is that prefixes exist to be placed in front of base units that increase or decrease their value by a factor of 10. For example, the prefixes milli and micro are used to make smaller units. Milligram is 1,000th of a gram, and a microgram is 10 to minus 6 grams. Here are some examples of some prefixes we can use or that are commonly used to alter our base units. So for example, if our base unit was a gram, then a kilogram would be 1,000 grams. A megagram would be a million grams. A gigagram would be 10 to the ninth grams. A teragram would be 10 to the 12th grams, and so forth. If we go smaller than a gram, a decigram would be 0.1 grams or 10 to minus 1 grams. A centigram would be 0.01 grams or 10 to minus 2 grams. A milligram would be 0.001 grams or 10 to the minus 3 grams. Notice on the right side of the chart we have a column labeled equality. For example, let's say 1 gram is 1 times 10 to the 6 micrograms, or 1 microgram is 1 times 10 to the 6 grams. We can use these equalities as conversion factors. So let's think of it like this. Let's take the number 3, okay? If I multiply 3 times 1 over 1, I have 3. If I multiply 3 times 4 over 4, I also have 3, right? Because 4 divided by 4 is 1, and anything times 1 is just itself. Well, we use conversion factors like this. We're not changing the essence of a number by multiplying a number by a conversion factor. So anything that's an equality, we can use it like a fraction that is a number over itself. So just like 4 over 4, an equality can be used to multiply a quantity by in order to convert that quantity into different units. Let's look at an example. Let's say, for example, that we have 562 milligrams and we want to convert that to grams. Well, we have the equality that 1,000 milligrams is equal to 1 gram. So, in order to convert milligrams to grams, what can we do? We can take our 562 milligrams and we multiply by the equality. So, we want to put the number that we're trying to get rid of on the bottom. So 1,000 milligrams, okay? And we want to put the number we're converting to on the top is 1 gram. Now, notice that this hasn't changed the essence of the number. For example, if we multiplied by 4 over 4, that would be the same as multiplying by 1. If we multiply by 1,000 milligrams divided by 1 gram, or if we multiply by 1 gram divided by 1,000 milligrams. Both of these quantities are equal to each other, and therefore, if you divide them by themselves, if you divide them by each other, then you're essentially multiplying by 1. So, what we can do is we can now cross out the milligrams, because milligrams divided by milligrams is just equal to 1. And we divide the 562 by 1,000, and that gives us an answer of 0.562 grams. Now we've converted the milligrams into grams, so we can use these conversion factors to convert between metric units. We can use the same prefixes with any base unit also. For example, If our base unit is grams, then 1,000 of those base units, 1,000 grams, would be a kilogram. If our base unit is meters, then 1,000 meters is a kilometer. If we had a base unit of liters, 1,000 liters is a kiloliter. So the metric system has the convenience of being able to use all of these prefixes with any of our base units. Here's an example of a chart that combines several of these prefixes. For calcium, we have a recommended daily value of 1 gram. We don't have a prefix there. For copper, we have a recommended daily value of 2 milligrams. For iodine, 150 micrograms, which might be written with the Greek symbol micro in front of the gram, or mcg for microgram. For magnesium, for example, we see 400 milligrams. Notice that by using these prefixes, we can keep the numbers to a reasonable level. So we have numbers expressed in more tangible ways. For example, for niacin, we have a recommended daily value of 20 milligrams. If we express that in grams, we'd have 0.020 grams. That would be harder for most people to understand. It's easier for most people to wrap their head around the concept of 20 rather than the concept of 0.020. And this is just one example of why we would want to use prefixes to express numbers. Let's have a learning check. 1,000 meters is 1 what? 1 times 10 to the minus third grams is, what's the prefix here? And 0.01 meters is blank meters. So let's fill in with the correct prefixes. 1,000 meters is a kilometer. 1 times 10 to minus third grams is a milligram. 0.01 meters is a centimeter. Again, these prefixes are used to keep the numbers to a more tangible, reasonable value. For example, ophthalmologists measure the diameter of an eye's retina in centimeters, while a surgeon measures the length of a nerve in millimeters. Each of the following equalities describes the same length, but in a different unit. 1 meter is 100 centimeters, or 1,000 millimeters, and 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters. Common units of volume in the health sciences are liters, deciliters, and milliliters. A liter is equal to 10 deciliters. In other words, when a liter is divided into 10 equal portions, each portion is called a deciliter. When a liter is divided into 1,000 equal portions, each of those portions is a milliliter. So 1,000 milliliters is a liter, and 10 deciliters is a liter. A deciliter is also equal to 100 milliliters. Here are some examples of different laboratory values that use the deciliter as the base unit. So albumin, the normal range is 3.5 to 5.4 grams per deciliter. For ammonia, the normal range in blood is 20 to 70 micrograms per deciliter. For calcium, we have 8.5 to 10.5 milligrams per deciliter, and so forth. In chemistry labs, we usually use milliliters, but in health sciences, cubic centimeters are often used instead. A cubic centimeter is equal to 1 milliliter, and 1,000 cubic centimeters is equal to 1,000 milliliters, which is 1 liter. So these units can be used interchangeably, cubic centimeters and milliliters. Here we have a more tangible example of what 1,000 milliliters or 1,000 cubic centimeters looks like. 1 cubic centimeter is, for example, a small amount that we might see in a syringe equal to 1 milliliter in so 1/5 of this 5 milliliter syringe. If we think of it as a cube, it would be a cube with 10 centimeters width times 10 centimeters length times 10 centimeters height, giving us a total overall volume of 1,000 milliliters or 1,000 cubic centimeters, with each one of those being 1 milliliter. Mass is often measured in grams or kilograms, where 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams, and 100 centigrams. Let's pause with a learning check. Identify the larger unit in each of the following: a millimeter or a centimeter, a kilogram or a centigram, a milliliter or a microliter, and a kiloliter or a microliter. A millimeter is 0.001 meters, which is smaller than a centimeter. A kilogram is larger than a centigram. A milliliter is larger than a microliter, and a kiloliter is larger than a microliter.